Princes of Gumby. Once upon a time, there was a piece. That's what he thought, not his mixer. Once upon a time, there was a piece of clay. There's Hopper. It's some stuff you can make me. This person did some massacre when some engine was working. Thought he can help making his clay. He took the clay, went to his shed, next to the station in the Keendale Railway. His name was Prince, the small engine. He was taking it and was making it into something. So one day, in his rather small shed, Prince began to make his clay into some butter. It just it is turning to be a lovely clay person. What shall we name it? It said no. Yes, Albert Gumby. Yes, Gumby. Some name, God name. It may give him God luck. So, on his face, and the female touched on the head, and it's done now. And some arms, yes, and the sweet toy was sent to me. And I think that's it. I'll try it. No. Stop laughing, John. You said stop it laughing. Oh, take off. It is just teasing her. That's all that I can understand it all. We are talking at first, not on the knee. Yes, it's what he can talk. But what's a bunch of? And even just talking about the equivalent one does. And eating box. Nick, a thinking box. Talking of this is and the socket clock from Plisco. Oh yes, that's what talking to. Now it's back. Got luck then. After having finished playing music, he set off he set off for the next place with the house where he lived. But on the way, he unfortunately met some bandits. They were looking for places who come there as to do something of stopping them what they thought before. They're looking for the target. The police were just put them in a hidden place. Long ago, if somebody they can let them see me. Yes, I'll say it. Stop your hissing spitting on us. Oh, it's harder. What's your main helping me? Every day. What? Jason. Oh, nothing. I've never seen that in this back. There are the places here. This is a knocker that he made. Is to take a look at some things and keep it secret. And start it with plaster. The king of the dawn has unlocked. Strange. But it is a speck of the rushes. Seamless for once. Or what of a sleeping place with some midnight to come and walk to the next house. Is there no concern? There's a toilet room. Oh, what a stink. Someone made it stink here. Or someone is dead. This is the bathroom. Oh, never stinks. And it's in the tub. Well, some strange somebody has taken a bath. Strange as skin are. What's this on the floor? Skin? This is strange. Her bed. This is the kitchen. What a mess. Someone is looking for something. Oh, and I started 10 years music school. Let me take a look. Aha! And I started 10 years in small school. I wonder how the teacher people did. I wonder how these teacher people are. I wonder how these teachers are. In Thomas Smith, the last Robert Turner, in the first day at his school. It's very strange, but he told him and his mother was supposed to visit, and he was not, and doesn't hurt the things. He doesn't hurt the things at all. This is cheap and dumbstruck. He doesn't make those people have a change and let him stay in the spot. Some sculpture has been torn out. Even he was cleaning, he was not in class. This sculptor is rubbish. It teaches a chain to keep a ball in the skull and makes this go. These people they saw are not better to make him. They were unrated, and they all started piercing and nothing but scoundrels. His mother doesn't make it when he calls them his name, but he can't stop it. All else is often and a make-believe. In thinking that this house is not as empty as it's supposed to be. The bench is not clean. What's this? And the top half arm. Yeah, this is from the pedometer. In that case, who left the daughter not on there? It was it. The pedometer's wondering in the place. And then the kid. Where's that bed? Ah, there it is. Now you can see. Nate King. And gumby was asleep. He woke up at midnight and he couldn't have escaped. Head up at Nick's house. He talked to Chico that the Dominic was about to stalk him. Her gumby said for the skirt. She walked about the place, but she thought of the path. Thomas's location. Oh, the officer someone laughed. Who's that? Who's that? Oh, this only needs some type of meat, huh? Who's that? The boss doctor. Oh, doesn't seem not the boss. What someone from Earth to kiss her in its face while visiting the next house. But since the sun strange names or not horror and pain pleasure or action is favorably, and all just to help him, just to help keep running it. It's not awesome. If this given him orders, also, if this is picture of his father's pleasure, his long ago in the pocket. Oh, the picture's not saved me by the tectonic. Once I was and treated in the TARDIS. It's in danger, Tom. Try not to drop it and give it to Bertha. You need her to hit it. Isn't it along the path? Top in its house. And be careful. And it is so dark. And the 15,000 a mom need and secret needs to help. Nothing away. All this is dangerous. It needed his, but it's not in the morning. It's short, but remember this. Anyone who does some work is to be careful about things. If they could change, it may not be the same, father. We don't need doctor, a bit, and God knock on bending over it of the mixers. What's it on the tectonic? If it danger? Oh, it's gone with the doctor, but it meant in this, it can send me. If in the dollar would come up, itchy, listen, what you want from me, and it can put on after we leave the room. It could be in the mercy stone. Ah! Oh! Oh, ah! Is he keeping awkward? Or does it turn out to be a bit dark? What can I eat? Is he can walk on and see to his walk? Whoa! Stop me the first of this. What is it? Pick up? What is it? Oh, it comes. It cannot be stopped. It just says, and so comes the Dalek and the former chasing after him. He began to hate them along with the rotations to take the good top in mixers until they did. Of course, the Daleks were hot on his table, and Gumby was running for the same harvest spaces. He evenly chased his steps, but no matter which way he went, the Daleks still chased him. He lost them and kept on running. They talk about what a long time to them of the mixers. in the need until the following morning. And left the house. He'd saved at last, just in time for eating thinking box, not a box. A digital takes over this. What is made of it after changing? Oh, then the dog's box. What's Sunday? No, the first one. Linker. Linker as president. A stalking and lurking adventurous cat. He's a pit and is not red as me. Walking wheel and a kink at the end of his ever long tail. He was cheeks and soft, slender and fun. He chased off the leaves and he burned the sun. But of late he was wicked and fiendish snake. For the moon-laden sector he plowed, he prayed. He kept along fences, he neat herbal walls, he poked into corners and sneaked into halls. The baking milk-clay devil was he not taught. It needed the peace, sink him and link had turned into a thief. All of the turn from basket and bird, he piffled and pillaged, he snitched and he stirred. Snippers and sausages, biscuits, melons, and basses and bandages, pencils and stones. He poked them, checked them, heaved them and tickled. He carried them to his house. He carried them to his house on the hill. One last cannonade between midnight and fall, sink him in inkest for more than before. Some pigs and a turtle bird dressed up in lace, a gardening glove from the carpenter's place. And bird, a titer, bird sneaker, a smeller, bird sock, and Jennifer Turkington's popular smock. Miss Keisha Banana some cloth and a pen, a cushion from under the Canada's den, a clock and some bottles, a pair of broad jeans, a half-knitted jersey, a packet of beans, he pop them, take them, heat them, and Tinny carried them home to his house on the hill. Then she came in and said, "It's getting dead. Pale them up here in the heap on the mat." Then I can guess what happened next, can't I? The girl toppled over and gummed up the pegs. The chaser unraveled and tangled his legs. He tripped on the bottles and slipped on the sock. He tripped where the seat was and set off the clock. Crash went the bottles, beep beep, and the clock, blast, blast, and the dog on the block. Toot, on went the leads, bang went the door, and then came the fender. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, you said, what a criminal cat. The barber will have to take everything back. The tangled up nickel and glove on his face. Person criminal was deep in disgrace. Never again did he answer the call when the monster first danced over garden and wall. When this was all wickedness stirred in his head, he adjusted his whiskers and stayed firm instead. And Steve heard. What's it done now? Some sort of television box. What's it from the rabbit speaker? And swap it computer. Board. What is this now? A bird of a digital dictator. Interesting choices he's got. This book. Synchroning cat steps. In a house. The house was a sea. It was silent and still. With flickering shelters, unseen and chill. Synchroning cat was cozy and snug. Better than a ball on the wicker rug. He opened an egg, inspected his earth on his paws, washed from his tail to the tip of his ears. He raked round and back with a delicate paw and stretched. This is seen at the tips of the door. Whiskers all twitchy, knees feeling paid. He squeezed all his cutthroat into a net. He turned round the garden and smelled every smell from the empty earth of the smell in itself. In the cottage Christian car, he spent on the top of the wall, of tumbled down wall. Help! He called. Out of the box at the end of the wall came tall keeping structures, one big, one small. Sitting and shivering, combing down, a cubic birds butterball brown. Next over her is the tunnel house door, fit with the lurking, the tall-shirt earth more up on the knees. Of the few fingers that came pimpernel paw, mushroom tear. Down on the grass, the clock and the fame, the stars, figures, a pain, a game, a tumbled and chased with a scarf, and cut the poppadom kittens and gizly dust. From knocks and from cleanness, from mischief game, ever from every corner and crevice he came. He sat in the moonlit silver curve, hobnobbing, helpless, tender earth. One tall, about 4 feet, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Some dust on it, and needed some clean, upstairs clean at all. But out of the hedge, with the wicked heat, disturbing the birds in the velvet sleep. Something was sneaking on posture for paw, the clinker and cockchator, scarfish claw. Then all at once came the ass-splitting sound of Kedwall's cylinder hurtling round. It broke all the neighbors from window and door, came billowing shouts and father's floor. Elsie, what a wicked a bunch! Stop that commotion and go home at once! screaming crow, the scuttle of paw, off and away, cricket, scarfish claw, and down from the wall, in a hiss and a split, when sinker and inker, nicotous split. The apples all flattered and teared, and the name shouting behind. In a tear, breathing, name, whiskers all twitching, and a sailing pit, a squeezed from the clipford, and out of the net. The house was asleep. It was silent and still, with flickering short earth, unseen, unserved, sink them and ninker, as closer and snug, with all of his friends, on the regular rug. They sit in the fields, welcoming her, hobnobbing, Hertford, turned in a fur. He turned. Well, what's this one? Tinker and Ninker, open the door. Tinker and Ninker, and stick her big head where the troublesome pair. Trouble what you did, at home in the house when Mr. was dead. They opened the door and they started to play. They slitted a skirt and they thought they saw a long woolen scarf and pictured skirt tall. Then Tinker and Ninker jumped her off the floor, swung on the handle, opened the door. They tangled the tires and hung on a rope. They pedaled in powder and sit on the slope, then off. Drunken does this dream. When you come to some pages on this book, they tip down on some pillar snips, tied up in pairs. They hurled up the carpet and hurled down the stairs. Then, his wonderful kids at first. Tinker and Ninker jumped her off the floor. He swung on the handle and opened the door. He tittered at some letters and bettered some box. He sketched some paper clips, pencils and hawks. Then Tinker and Ninker jumped her off the floor. He swung on the handle and opened the door. up on cushions and vases of flowers. It picked up with curtains for hours and hours. And then Cinnamon Ninker jumped on the floor, swung on the handle, opened the door. What's the matter? The things that they did, Cinnamon Ninker and Sticker Beak said. They stirred up some stones and a burr of cauliflower in a soup full of spaghetti and vegetable sauce. They knocked over packets even Father ate. Then came a scratch and a rustle and said, Cinnamon Ninker jumped her off the floor, swung on the handle, and opened the door. She opened up this book. There's some thinking box. Thinking in the dark. Thinking could sleep down a bit of bank all day, being all by himself. He could count forwards and backwards. He could even the zippers and button up buttons. But Thinking was afraid of the small dark places, but that was a problem because Thinking was a turtle. He was afraid of crawling into his shell, his small dark shell. Then Sir Thinking, the turtle, dragged his shell behind him. Every night, Thinking's mother would take a flashlight and shine it into his shell. Sir, would say, there's nothing to be afraid of. So he said that it wasn't afraid of anything. But Thinking was it keeps the things, separate things and monsters living inside his small dark shell. Sir Thinking went looking ahead. He walked until he met a duck. Excuse me, duck. I'm afraid of small dark places, and it can't come inside my shell. Can you help me? Maybe, quit the duck. No, sir. I'm afraid of the deep water sometimes, when your daughter is watching. Remember, water means. What may water means, Victor? Said Thinking. I'm not afraid of water. So Thinking walked until he met a man. Excuse me, man. I'm afraid of small dark places, and it can't come inside my shell. Can you help me? Maybe what you need. Russell, I'm afraid of keeping loud noises. Sometimes when her doctor is knocking, it might be almost. What may almost reply? Her, said thinking, is not afraid of keeping loud noises. Her thinking walked until he met a bird. Excuse me, bird, I'm afraid of small dark places, and it can't inside my head. Can you help me? Maybe, said the bird. I'm afraid of flying so high that I get dizzy and fall to the ground. Sometimes when her father is knocking, I pull my parasol. What my parasol help her, said thinking. I'm not afraid of flying high and getting dizzy. Her thinking walked and walked until he met a polar bear. Excuse me, polar bear, I'm afraid of small dark places, and it can't come inside my head. Can you help me? Maybe, said the bear. Yes, I'm afraid of feeding on icy coordinates. Sometimes when her father's knocking, it marries her spot into bed. But Miss Spot reply, her thinking, I'm not afraid of cold, of feeding on icy coordinates. Thinking stayed in hunger, walked until he met his mother. Oh, thinking, it is so afraid, mother lost. You'll never feed. It didn't hurt mother's ever feed, said thinking. Where did you find some herb? She asked. Well, he met that I was afraid of deep water. She said. Then they met again. I was afraid of great loud noises. She said. And then they met a bird. I was afraid of farming. And a permanent bird. I was afraid of fishing. Oh, she said. You are afraid of something? Said thinking. It was getting late. Thinking was never tired and never hunger. They walked until they were home. Thinking's mother gave him a current supper, a warm hug. Then she sent him off to bed. What need God? She said. And thinking nodded what he heard at all. He couldn't see his head, his small, dark shirt. Even where he saw cheap perfumes, and amongst that he should be Robin Hood. And then when the butter was knocking, thinking, the turtle turned on his knit. Habe abwinken. Finken kan slittande with a big of being served. He kan come forwards and backwards. He kan zip zippers and buttons. He can't even see the the small dog's hair. The thinking was sure, even for the turtle. Habe abwinken, pleaded his mother. Habe abwinken, she begged his father. Habe abwinken, shouted his friends. Mother, never in a minute, said Finken, but mother's always spoke much to spit, and spoke much to dog. Finken's never having just a minute. One day, Finken was rather excited. He was going to Bear's house. It was a special day. It was a special day. How about Finken? Spit Finken's mother. Look up beneath. It wasn't far to Bear's house, just along the path, over the pitch, and across the river pitch. Finken leaned over, except he saw something unusual. He wandered off the path and found Herbert bobbing up and down in the tall green grass. What's that talking? Finken asked Herbert. Play leapfrog, said Herbert. Do you want to play with me? I'm on my way to Bear's house, said Finken, and it can't be late. There's lots of time, said Herbert, forgetting that Finken was for even have a turtle. It's just along the path, over there, over the beach, and across the river church. Come and play with me. Finken knew it wasn't far, and so he said yes. Herbert needed Herbert Finken again and again. Across the river, Herbert said, it's time to go. Have that Finken rock and need. Then Herbert bounded along the path on his way to Bear's house. I'll be back in a minute, said Finken. He went to bed, not in just a minute, except he had an answered. Finken wandered even further off the path until he found Otter sliding up and down the river bank. What's that talking? Finken asked Otter. Sipping and sliding, answered Otter. Do you want to play with me? You're on your way to Bear's house, said Finken, and it can't be late. There's lots of tea, said Otter, forgetting that Finken was for even other turtle. It's just along the path, over the pitch and across the river pitch. Come and play with me. Finken knew it wasn't far, and so he said yes. Finken slid down the river bank and splashed the floor bubbles until Otter said, it's time to go. Have a Finken are all been late. do not just swim away in the thick of a tail on the way to Bear's house. I'll bet up in a minute, said Finken. It was ever cleared. Finken wasn't heard, and far from the path. Herbert had gone, Aunt had gone. Finken had a frightening thought. Maybe he was already town late. Finken walked as fast as his turtle legs could walk. He happened saw the fields and along the path. He was almost at the bit. He heard a rustle in the grass and saw the pets of British fur. It was Fox, hiding in the grass. Do I want to play with Smith? Asked Fox. If Harper, said Finkel, remember me to Bear's house. It's not for the far, said Fox. Just over the bridge and across the river perch. Come and play hide and seek. Finkel hesitated. Hide and seek was his favorite game. Better or not, asked Fox. Finkel shunted. Better. He was just about to step off the path when he remembered. It was a special day. He couldn't be late. You can't play, said Finkel. You're the habit. Finkel rushed along the path and over the bridge. He was in such a hurry that he almost stepped on Snail. I don't think I'll be in such a hurry, asked Snail. What was even serving at Finkel? You're on your way to Bear's house, said Finkel. If the hurry, it can't be late. But being late will rob everything. Snail began to cry. What's wrong, asked Finkel? I'll never get to Bear's house on time. Sobbed Snail. It's not very far, said Finkel. Just across the river perch. It seemed very far to Snail, and the sobbed even harder. However, said Finkel, briefly, but even Finkel discovered it was further than he thought. It was a very big river perch. He wished he hadn't played with Rabbit, Otter, and Fox. He hadn't wasted so much time talking to Fox, and he remembered it was a special day. It was her time to play. He had to have it. Come along, Snail, said Finkel, helping Snail slid on his bed. Just have it, whispered Snail. But Finkel needed her urging. He was certain and stood here. He had it past the pet burgers, past the ghost burgers. He even had it past the grass burgers. He was almost at Bear's front gate when he remembered something important. He stopped at the edge of the burger perch and started picking handfuls of the rapist, plumpest, sauciest brown burgers in the burger perch. He told her time to pick burgers, said Snail. Don't hurt, he can't be late. synchronismens into sneers later, en sån sneers spelpintar. He picked until the boss was key. Haber, absent, sneer, plus haber, ab, thinken. He had a burst path, father door, front door, across the kitchen into Burst living room. Herbert was there, Alta was there, Foxes there, everyone was there. Thinking and sneering, but made it just in time to send surprise Herbert birthday there. And he did. Horseman takes a photo. There was a note posted in Keendale post office. It's a Keendale competition for big places for entry. Meet Bertrand Herrick for pets with Mrs. Goggins. Well, said Pet, just the native farms came in for some steps. It's just a competition, said the nature. If you want to spend it, we can drop it together. Well, said Pet, come round the hall when you're finished your letters. Okay, he turned it and he dusted off. The major's cabinet was a novice. It was also Pepper Herbert and Pepper Herbert. It stood on Pepper legs and was all polished. One seen the boss. Now this is a real purpose of the major. Spurt's been a place will start on Saturday. Turn on what Spurt. Let's take the pictures of all our friends in Keendale. I'll start with Miss Hubbard. It's for her, Major, said Pat. It was a Sunday day on Saturday when Pat and the Major Forbes, stirred up Miss Hubbard's garden path with their Forbes curler. Miss Hubbard was beautiful of them, just in the best curves. Now, Miss Hubbard, if you can't just stand over beyond their face, said Major Forbes, Major said, not no men. You must get on with it. Before the sun goes, said the Major. Now the Major began to fiddle with the color. He trickled knobs and sneezed, and adjusted this and that. Then he lifted a big black cloth and hid his head under it. Pet took a small curler out of his pocket and took a quick snip of Major Forbes and Miss Hobbit. The major trickle of his cover a little more. Then his muffled voice that smear up nerves and some of Miss Hobbit's piece decided they wanted to be in the photograph. A small cloud of them began to gather around. Miss Hobbit told them wondered so what the major was talking under the big black cloth. Another bird seemed to take offense to Pittsburgh. Major, said Miss Hobbit together. Look out! Said no, after Major under his black cloth, keeping still Victor. When they comes up with a what's that? Lots of things happened at once. Catching Miss Hobbit ran down the path, away from the bears. The camera went off with a loud laughing. One of the bears gave Miss the Major a sting right on the end of his fur. He jumped several feet in the air. The camera fell with a curse. The Major shouted, "Oh, help! Murder!" The men ran round the garden, sparking his furs. What a noise he made! Miss Hobbit ran to get her first aid kit. When she got catching, she saw her the scene out of her Major's furs. Then she did something on it to ease the pain. Now she's done it, can't come to her. No song but thing, said Miss Hobbit. It's a god-bit heart, said Pet. The Major developed a picture the next day. It's her a fancy backfall of Pet and Miss Hobbit running away in with the swarm of bears after them. Not a winner, what? Said the Major. Never mind, said Pet. Better not next time. When Pet's photographs came back from the shop in Pencaster, he had a lovely picture of the Major bent under his bedcloth and Miss Hobbit posing with the bare heads. Pet put his photograph in for the competition, won third place. When the Major heard about it, he wouldn't speak to Pet for a fortnight. He came round just about the same time that his son first ended up with his son Finnegan. The best man wins, said the Major Fox. But just wait in the next competition, then you'll see. He earned. This is talking that. Finnegan fixes and turning these. Want to talk at talk. And just being out sick with being a being chops. Finken constantly learned if a big all being safe. He could turn forwards and backwards. He could zippers, buttons. He could even taste shoelaces. But Finken could not swallow 26 days in the pink of an egg, and this was a problem because Finken said he could, he told honest that he could. Finken had faith. It started with that person. It can claim the history is scribbled on the tip of a pen. Then how bad it can play with the paper text without flipping their leaves. He saw purple watch and passed the paper text without brushing the paper. Beaver curd. He can chop down the chair with just mere teeth. Beaver gnawed first on one side, then on the other, chips of wood, slaw this way and that. It's a custom. Insisted. It can make me wounded. Finken couldn't kill a chair. He couldn't chop down the chair. He couldn't flee. Then he forgot everything. He got off, so he said, it can swallow 7 to 6 days in the blink of an eye, he said. His friends Weatherstone watched her, said Finken. Finken gobbled off all 6 fingers. No, but that was burden the 6 days, said Hawk. But the burden the 6 days day, said Finken. Indeed, it was on the blink of an eye. It could have eaten 7 tomorrow. Let's see, said Beaver. Finken frowned. Others told me he could eat 7 to 6 days in the blink of an eye. Who they tall. Finken had no appetite at dinner. What's wrong? Asked his mother. It can't eat 7 to 6 days in the blink of an eye. Neither can they, said Finken's father. Neither can they, said Finken's mother. But I'll told her to, said Finken's sister. And they taught, said Finken, told them all about the finish. His mother nodded. His father frowned. You have great imagination, said Finken's father. The next morning, Finken's friends were eating beaver and a surprise. Eat them, said Dad. Finken wrapped a woolen winter scarf tight round his neck. God, he squawked. He got us up. Hurt. His friends laughed. Finken felt terrible. He couldn't eat. He couldn't see. He couldn't think of anything but fleas and lays. to some TV called for 7 to 6 days in the blink of an eye. Think and there's nothing. You're caught, but it won't take a long time, he said. I can't stop playing with my friends, thinking there's nothing. Your comments on me been nervous, she said. I can't tell effect, said thinking. Jag kan inte sitta högen som vill raken serpen vad saken tar. The next day, Finklin's friends were waiting. You can't eat 7 to 6 days in the blink of an eye, admitted Finklin. Eat ghosts at that, said Finklin. You can eat 7 to 6 days. Finklin's friends said. And said Finklin. That's I mean, Finklin and he got the face of some father, milk, eggs, and honey. He burned stirred, burned baked, finger, he was eaten. Watch me, Finklin gobbled intensely paid. There, said Finklin, licking his lips. Amazing, what is Colonel Tosser Beaver? Finklin circled with success. He was about to say that he could eat 12 pieces of gold. Then he thought tasting instead nothing at all. Even a turtle could stay off eating 3 pieces. In a bunch of thin restriction contorted kismet. It can't help it, not with the midnight perfect. The digital AT curvature, it will be better than these poor ones. What I've seen yesterday is some gain. That's what I saw, it checked off our spectrum. And he thought of wanting to play but hasn't got time. Only made Nagita played. He'll make a film at curtain. And if I want to get the checked off for spectrum instead, said Commodore 64 but not Amiga. Anyway, in the bed, it's good. Narrated bed is that in the frostman. Oh, please, Thomas a Tinkins box. No need. Finklin gets is lost. Finklin can't say darn a bit that big. He can't count forwards and backwards. He caught ship strippers and buttons. He caught even walked a bathhouse. All being said, I think it was not an Atlantic ribbons on the water bird. One day Finkel said, in urban to play bathhouse. All he'd spit Finkel's mother for dinner by 6 o'clock. She working the tea with the hands of the clock. And Finkel and someone heard urban on the water bird. Finkel raced down the path, heard of the pitch, and across the river pitch. Rabbits there, foxes there, coughing out of it there. In there, a Finkel. Watch how pig eating seeks under his fence, and how it. Finkel started counting, and Finkel started counting. He didn't seek was his favorite pig. He wasn't very fast, but he was very clever. He always hidden the river pitch. Finkel not learned. He saw the circle paw spit at the branch of rivers. Is how bad he called. Finkel spotted feathers and fur under the pitch. Is how cross, is how butter, he called. Herding the fox was left to feed. Finkel walked this way and that. He knocked into bushes and searched under logs. He walked along the path and heard the pitch without even thinking. He walked right into the logs. He knocked into boulders and all around. Spears. Finkel searched everywhere, but he couldn't see Fox. Fox wasn't in the woods at all. He was hiding safe bathhouse. Oh, later, he shouted, "Can't catch me!" But Finkel couldn't have him. He was too far away. Where's Finkel? Asked Fox. About them now. They waited a long time. As Tommy come out, Finkel costed. It's almost 6 o'clock. Finkel must have had it with the supper. Of course, he said, and off he went. At Finkel's house, the clock struck 6. Finkel's parents were annoyed. The supper was eaten. At 6:30, even better, and men came knocking for Finkel. Finkel's father searched along the path. Finkel, he called. "Ah!" Finkel's mother talked to all his friends. "Where's Finkel?" shouted Bert. "Where's Finkel?" shouted Dr. Boss. "Where's Finkel?" shouted Fox. "Who want to know? Not either, rather tall." was getting dark. Thinking turned one way and another. Is it tea? Is it not the same? Is the rock not the same? He couldn't see the path. He lost, said Finger in a thin little voice. He couldn't remember which way he'd come. He didn't know which way to go. He was tired and frightened and all that. Thinking curled up in a small dark cell and waited somebody would come sometime one day. Dark shirt was fitted across the rocks. What's that? Mr. Finkel. But no one answered because it was the current hurting across the face of the lawn. What's that? Mr. Finkel. But no one answered because it was early all day. Mr. Finkel. And still no one answered because it was the wind whistling of its ears. Finkel tried to sleep, but the sun made him drunk. He was hungry himself, and the clock sound neither click, 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 squish, squish. Who's that? Mr. Finkel, but no one answered. Then Finkel heard a rustling that sounded like someone calling his name. He heard it again. Habern, Habern, Finkel shouted. Click, crack, click, crack, click, crack, squish. Finkel's purpose came further and further. He hugged him and kissed him and held him tight. Leave us, Robert, said Finkel's father. Robert told not to go until the water broke. Spoke his mother. It wasn't on purpose, they thought Finkel. He was looking for fox and they forgot. I think God was lost, said Finkel's parents. They found the path and walked all the way through. Their supper was still warm in the oven. After 12 helpings of everything, Finkel had something important to say. His supper, he promised I'll never go until the water and hurt again. Even if Fox hates her, asked his mother, even if Bear hates her, asked his father, even if her father hates her, said Finkel. It was bedtime. Finkel crawled into his warm, safe cell. Good night, said his parents. But no one answered because Finkel had fallen fast asleep. These 12 volts are later waiting in the meeting places. What can you tell the other one? Oh, in the top, of course. Thinking is butter. Thinking the turtle can't ship shippers and buttons. You can't count guitars and two saws. You had lots of friends, and one best friend named Bear. They played spade, marbles, hopscotch, and ball, but one day something awful happened. Thinking and Bear had a fate. It was a steamy summer morning. Thinking heard his friends, let's play marbles, they said. And they did. After they Finken said, instead of marbles, let's have a race. You all always pick the games, rumbled Bear. Think and play have attention. They started to run. Bear was in the lead. Godfather close behind. Finken saw that he was naughty and cleared. Circus one wins. She crawled across the finishing lane. Lost. That's not fair, said Bear. Finken ignored him. Instead of running and play baseball. Bear did not put on his mitt. He did not put on his cap. He was mad. It's so hard. We don't want to play, said Bear. We need that, said Beaver. It's not so hard, said Finken. It's tall, said Bear. It's not, said Finken. We don't want to play with Ross, Finken, said Bear. And they don't want to play Ross either. Finken sent it back. Finken stomped all the way through. What's wrong? Asked the smarter. There's no one to play with, answered Finken. Maybe our friends will come in later, said Finken slowly. Maybe, he said. In his room, Finken built a castle. He made a cake to the raven. He made skillets and swords and spots of armor. He drew pictures. He played house, good soldiers. He played benches for one whole hour. Then he didn't know what to do. So Finken went knocking the company. His friends were in the river calling off. Almost in a hut, he answered, he asked. Oh, he answered. Then let's play ball, said Finken. Before anyone had a chance to say a word, Finken started giving orders. Bear played first base. Gossen die Web, Yorkburg, on the outfield. After the pitcher, who reasserted Bear that who wanted to play the lot of butter. All Finken's friends nodded. Bear's great, he said. Finken turned his back and went through. That is who wanted to play with and nothing much to talk. So he hit his father all off weeded the garden and washed the flowers, and they made supper for her because she was sick. Robert got friend with her Finkel's father, only her thinking of turn her face sometimes, said Finkel's father, but we always make up. Finkel paid her for another birthday. He missed her and all of his friends. He heard lots of tale things. He wanted her to bear her apologies. Finkel and Bear met on the beach. Davis working so hard, said Bear. Davis working so hard, said Bear. It's obvious, said Finkel. It was all my fault. It was my fault, said Bear. Me, said Finkel. Me, said Bear. Stop, shouted Beaver, always listening under the bridge. This is silly. Beaver slipped her tail. So hard that Finkel and Bear jumped. They started to giggle. Friends, asked Finkel. Friends, said Bear. Beaver wanted to play baseball. Bear and Goss and Duckett, they were picking teams and Finkel insisted on being a pitcher again. Altogether, things started her first Finkel not even great. He couldn't always be the pitcher. It was his turn to play in the outfield. It wasn't so bad. However, Finkel didn't catch a single ball. He did catch a lot of fleas. Finkel is Mr. Finkel caught kind orbits and backwards. He caught zip-zippers and buttons. He caught canned big sauce and tail sauce. But Finkel was so miserable that he could hardly have the faintest things, even special things. One day, Finkel searched for his sword. It was special because it made it himself from cardboard and wood and steel. Finkel needed it to play knights in armor with his friends, but he knocked it all over. He found a bag of marbles he thought he had lost. He found a burned apple core. He even found his favorite baseball cap, but he couldn't find his sword. Did you see my sword? Finkel asked his mother. Finkel's mother looked around his room. She shook her head. All this is a big mess. Please take this one before I'll go out to play. Finkel muttered to himself. We all the fuss about and it's on this. If Martin Parks things to matter about. He made misplain mates, thinking harder. He opened his plain mates. He opened his closet and heaped an armful of boxing shit. He piled all his box in the middle of his room. He found his kit in the corner and put the apple claw in the jar. All done, he said to himself, still I hadn't found his sword. Visiting Franklin needs birdhouse. His friends were on it to play nation other. Thus there's the earth with his sword, even London evil Jacob. Have a Franklin scented bird he needs her. The accomplishment Franklin again stopped. It not. It took his sword, said Franklin. That was disappointed. But how couldn't they play needs of own swords? He asked. Franklin not turned. He found a stick on the ground. Here all says, he said. They fought chickens all afternoon. So Harper, said Franklin, it better have made bird sword. Then we can save me the beaver from the fair peeping chicken. We are outrageous, said Franklin, and said, Beaver slipped down the tail hard. He took one to the sea, and one to a bath near tall. All right, said Franklin. Broken bird, said near the beaver, and together you will save the king. You'll need some special sorts of bird, of course, said Franklin. And Franklin got where his father was annoyed. He found this in Rob's wrong, he said, and in purple claw. It's not where it belongs. They found this kit on the floor. It's not where it belongs either. Franklin saw the apple in the garbage and hung his kit. Where all the fuss about it, and it's from this. Koski. Koski been looking for the password. She home to Franklin. Can you please give me a password back? She said. Franklin knocked. His room is such a mess that he couldn't spread the password among the box and clear on the box. Maybe it's in the closet, said Franklin. Franklin opened the closet door and was missing a door. He stepped inside. Crunch. It was a loud noise. Franklin's servants came rushing in. You're all right, he asked. I'm all right, said Franklin, but my sword isn't. He held up the to pieces. What a mess, said Finkel. Maybe you'll need more places to put something, said Finkel's father. Finkel found some boxes in the basement. He painted them and named them. Toy box, puzzle box, the costume box, black box, a pop box on the shelf, boxes, and they put a special hook on the back of the door for the no sound. The teaching up took a long time, but it wasn't because Finkel found lots of things he'd thought he'd lost. Gus's puzzle in his own favorite purple crayon, and enough cardboard, wood, and steam to make a raw sword and even a shield. The next morning, Finkel just fall over. He was especially proud of his raw shield. It said, Sir Finkel Laurel Levade. Sir Finkel, said his mother, I think I forgot something. Finkel smacked his penis on. Finkel smiled. He took the crayon and let it fall more words from his shield. And meat. Finkel wants a pet. Finkel cooked cranberry sauce, tea sauce. He conceived an earth in the small dark sphere. Even had a best friend named Bear. But Finkel wanted something else. He wanted a pet. Finkel had wanted a pet since he was small, but never he asked, maybe pictures, his parents said, maybe someday. Finkel waited for a long time. He often pretended to have a pet. He took Sam, his stuffed dog, for walks. He taught Sam tricks, even hurt Sam better some herbs. But Sam wasn't a mere pet. One day, Finkel asked his servants again, may the pet nurse? Finkel's servants stopped each other. Don't think about it, they answered. The first Finkel's helper because he did not say her. When Finkel became father, his servants could think about things for days and days. That day, Finkel visited birds for all about the pet he wanted. If he had a pet, he wanted a bird, said Bird. Why? Asked Finkel. Because birds sing beautiful songs, said Bird. Birds are nice, said Finkel, but loud singing they make me talk earlier. Finken waited until morning before asking his purposes. He had finished thinking it. Not Kate, said Finken's mother. We need to move. It's a local careful pit. Finken nodded his head up and down. Could you feed your pit? Asked Finken's father. Finken nodded again. Then all Earth ships there's 100 tapes there were. But he'd stopped himself. Finken visited beaver and bird, all about the pet he wanted. If he'd a pet, he would get kid, said beaver. Well, asked Finken, because kids make purring sounds, thought it. Kids are nice, said Finken, but some never heard what they are. Later that day, Finken asked his servants, are you finished thinking? Not sure, he answered. Just father, said Finken. His father said, Finken, this is a big decision. The pit costs money to build and keep. Finken offered all the money in his pickup bag and hoped it was enough. After counting his pennies, Finken visited his cart and bird all about the pit he wanted. If he'd a pit, he wanted a banner, said Cos. Well, asked Finken, because banners is bigly asked. Banners are nice, said Finken, but he'd think whiskers made me sneeze. After the days, Finken was tired of waiting on his servants to finish thinking. He returned. He brought seven on the breakfast table. He's been thinking. He's been taking care of him, son, for a long time, he said. It won't take rather than either pet all. I'll feed it, clean it first. We can take it on the bed if it gets sick. Finken's parrot smelled. It sounds as if girls been talking and lots of thinking tall. They said, sir, may the pit first, he begged. They whispered talk each other. Then they nodded. Their heads up and down. On a thin car, said Finken. He wanted a bird for the pit stall spot. Wait away. Or help what stars a pamphlet offered, said his father. Her thin car, said Finken. It will not want a dog. His presence was appeased. Dogs are nice, said Finken, but you want a clay pit. Finken's mother asked if he wanted a kitchen. Her Finken, said Finken. Kitchens are nice, but you want a pit that stays close there. Is it Hempstead? You want? Said Finken's father. Finken shook his head. Her Finken, the breakfast, asked Finken's mother. Her Finken, said Finken. What kind of pit you want? Asked his parents. tegelspel zit afspraken hebben. Met de tekststad vinken tante tabbetvis. Iemand kurvevis is het. Een kurvevis is het mee. De vis kan dan tapvis. Op hilfa. Vervinken. Expand. You need to watch this swim. Spurper. Burned and learned. You need a protocol canvas. And you need to make they made him in sea, creating calm. The sea, she said, is not good fish. It's the best use of all, said Finken's servants. Finken named his fish character. He thought other God clever, just as he promised. If a man in Finken watched this thing learned, if it need father into bed, Finken brought him great big fish kiss and said, "It's not wrong with them." But not a Finken bug, Finken's bacon. This done been pictures made the original to Rossman to make some animation things. I don't remember what this was. Some costume thing. Key, Smith, incarnate key is rock and walk, and then strong means rock can't walk. The strongest lost in these animation films didn't. Mr. Herper, Mr. Bump. Office, Mr. Chirkler, Mr. Thunder, Mr. Herser, Same Conda, Smith. Mr. Impossible, or Mr. Chatterbox. Master Ball, all last Mr. Keeper, Mr. Grumper, part of his animation in maybe it's not this box. I think and one Finken's blanket. Finken kan sneed darn a river big, all being said. He can't be tossing to sauce. He can't even see her. As long as he had a godly starter, a godly had a glass of water, and then laid in his brown blanket. There's a picture of Finken's father, eating Finken's dog. Just neat there. In the beginning, the blanket was big and soft and edged uncertain, but with all the snuggling and cuddling, it nerves and furs in the middle of and touches along the edges everywhere as Finken got bigger, his brown blanket got smaller. Finken Rosper kept his blanket open in his drawer, the top one. One night it wasn't there. Finken searched around his room. He rummaged for his toy chest. He took everything out of his drawers and his shawls, Amy box off the skirts, and he could not feel his brown blanket anywhere. He went to tell his parents. We're back to bed, he said, as soon as they saw him. But that's it, Finken. We're back, said Finken's father. Your head got neat started, and got neat tank, and tall glasses of water, neat and done. You're neat, he said. But you can't feel me blanket, said Finken. So Finken and his parents hunted everywhere. She told him remember, said Finken's mother. When did your last heard it? Finken thought, in the morning after feed with her, Finken snuggled with the blanket until he felt better. In the afternoon, when thunder crashed and lightning flashed, Finken had covered himself with the blanket until he was calm. He was sure that after the storm, he put the blanket back over the land. When Finken and his parents knocked, the blanket wasn't there. Well, we'll find it tomorrow, said Finken's father. You can't see without my blanket, said Finken's father, said Finken. Even it are, said Finken's father. He left the room and came back with an earth blanket. What's that? Said Finken. It was me, said Finken's father. You didn't make her better. Finken tried to snuggle. He heard her blanket, but it wasn't the same. He missed his own blanket. Terrible. And it took Finken a long time to fall asleep. The next morning, Finken began to search for his blanket. He went to Bear's house first. He knocked at the ground, but Bear asked, What's wrong, Finken? Did your father give from Brussels sprouts again? Your mother gave from some Brussels sprouts again? Well, said Finken, you can't feel my blanket. It's not mustard, but the seeds. My mother says big bears need me. It's all for baby blankets. Maybe his stuff under. What a bird. Your brother was thinking, and there's a difference there. Next, he'd see Fox's house. The pancake wasn't there either. Wait for the tea, said Fox. And there's the thinking. They want to see me drink it. My father says one of pancakes have got in the water, said Fox. Maybe your son gets in your pancake. He did. It need me for pancake, said Finkel. Then Finkel went to Beaver's house. The pancake wasn't there. Finkel knocked first at the Beaver said, knocking Papa me to until your feet up, pancake. And Finkel, Beaver, said Finkel, into the teacher. It need, and Finkel went to bed. If his father's heard the pancake, and Beaver's tutor, but it wasn't the same as sleeping with his bird-claw pancake. At breakfast, Finkel's father sniffed and pinched his ears. Just there's something odd, right? A sort of musty bird sock smell. Finkel's mouth was sniffed hard. Then Finkel remembered. You think he'd heard what smells? He said. Finkel reached under his chair and pulled out his broad pancake up. A handful of curds seemed to Brussels sprouts. He spit it out of the pancake and onto the floor. His mother father stood with amazement. Not, said Finkel, is there no pancake? If the gutter was small, you forgot to eat your Brussels sprouts too, said Finkel's mother. What? Said Finkel, looking a little sheepish. Her Brussels sprouts smelled to stink, said Finkel's father. All Brussels sprouts stink, said Finkel. Finkel's mother smiled. You also hate carpets, she said. Now that's a stinker. A stinker vegetable. Yes, there are this, said Finkel's father. It's even stinker than Brussels sprouts and carpets mixed together. Broccoli, said Finkel. Then he stopped. He ate broccoli. It stinks, but it wouldn't hate broccoli. He said, it's cotton rot, said his father. Finkel helped to take the nest. Finkel, then Finkel picked up his pancake. He took her. It's all the fur and all of fur, he said. And Josh taught me the bar. Cotton-ade. His father's cotton-ade stopper. His cotton-ade took a glass of water. Finkel put his father's hurt for pancake. Back by the banana. He was glad he lived in the house. And even for pancakes at the special place. Finken and bits of feather. Finken kan bits and tastes. Yet lots of confidence man whispered nearby. Finken back at the same age. They lived in the same neighborhood. They lived the same games. But one morning, Finken discovered away that he were different. Reaching for the school bus, Bert put his paw on his mouth and wriggled a toothpick and fall. It tickled and wriggled, then with a target came out. Look at this, said Bert. It must be first tooth. Finken was startled. There was even a literal blood on the tooth. It's terrible. Hello, hoping to turn on mother, Bert laughed. My teeth are supposed to fall out, said Bert. It makes room for me grand of teeth. Finken in his tongue, round his gums, they were small and firm, incompletely toughness. It would have the teeth, said Finken. It was Bert's turn to be surprised. Finken's friend shook their heads certainly tall. Bert, he said. Finken wondered why it never needed teeth before. Bert ripped his tongue in a bit of tissue and potted in his backpack. He needed to keep the safe, he said. All the way to school, Finken wondered why Bert wanted to keep his bird tongue, especially if it was working to cut. If he was working to get a bird off bird up top, and that was exciting. We don't want to keep your tongue, asked Finken. Let's not get a big one soon. All of his friends looked at him with amazement. Troops are burnt the top forever, asked Fox. Finken shook his head. It made the fireworks birds sleep. Your thoughts are paper torn under our paper. Then the top forever comes and takes it all away, explained Fox. But it's steaming, said Finken. Besides, what does the top feather talk with all her teeth? There was a long pause. Bert scratched his head. Fox missed his tail, never twitched. It said Bert. But she always leaves something behind. That bird teeth, said Finken, with a button laughed. All Finkens a fox. The top feather leaves a present. Finken wondered what kind of present a top feather would leave. It got some manner, said Bert. And it lost me first top. It got it off back, said the cow. Ik got crayons, answered. Finken rubbed his gums. He wished he heard a talk. To me, Father Torberger. He wanted a present talk. Bert hurt his talk to Mr. Arnold as soon as he got this to school. Arnold was very excited. Not your paper, Chief, means you're a croaking up, he said. Franklin did not say anything. He had hurt teeth, but he wanted to figure her not talk. Franklin was cared for the rest of the day. Evelyn heard Franklin was catching and also, what's wrong? Asked Franklin's mother. He hurt her in the teeth, answered. Never told her, said his father. That's the way turtles are. But in one teeth, said Franklin. His parents not so pleased. My friends got presents from the chopper and they not lost their teeth, said Franklin. Where do they get presents for their teeth? Asked Franklin's father, because it means they weren't working hard, said Franklin. Yes, sir, said his father. Indeed, just before Franklin would have got to it hard. Perhaps tough burgers did not hurt the turtles with their teeth. He found a trainer, hit rock, to put under his shirt. He asked his mother to help him. Later, it made a tough burger. This is a turtle tough. You may not have seen one before. First, he's a present. Franklin. Franklin woke up very early the next morning. He looked under his shirt. The rock was gone, but there was an earth instead of a present. He went on his purpose. What does it say? He asked. Franklin's father put on his reading glasses. While Franklin saw the turtles with her teeth on sea, roughened the top of it. Franklin was very unhappy until he purchased a big red package near his breakfast before. Open it, said Franklin's father. Inside was a beautiful box. How's it from? Asked Franklin. From us, said his purpose to save a bit of hurting it. Franklin stopped for the tour in the film car. From then on, Franklin didn't have a bad evening. Being different from that, he got it in all important ways in that of a trickster the same. Franklin has a simple person is. Finken can be tossed and tea sauce. You got chips, slippers and buttons. You got even sheep and herd in this small dogs who Finken thought he was richer of his first sheep herder. Just as mouth with buckled state beneath. All these big fingers mother, and their sheep. Finken's wrong was more of a turtle than a bear. You can't sleep in the living room, suggested Finken, and we can't have a coat there and say, and wait a minute, Ralph. Ralph Finken's mother, Ralph hasn't even asked Barrett. That did a herping dance after Finken called. Mips is Ralph. His purpose matter that the toffins will keep each other awake all night. They'll stop Ralph's back. Then they wondered if he won't figure Berkshire, not miss it, but Circus Target Circus. Back on Finken. Can you come, he shouted. Finken could hardly wait. There wasn't even till after supper, and Finken had just finished lunch. So he sorted all his toys and picked Bear's favorites. He made sure there was enough to eat, even tasted his room. Finken wanted everything to be just eight of his first sheep birthday. Bear was excited too. He couldn't decide what to be. No, not to leave behind. He lifted an enormous bag with toys, box, a paper, a sleeping bag, a puzzle, and a flashlight. He picked slippers, a softbrush, and a skirt. He put his banner on top of the bag. Therefore, however, he asked if it was time to her. After supper, Finken said Bear's winter, waiting of his friend. Taylor, Lavender's parents amazed. Have you got tea? He said. Bear gave them each a great big hug. They're camping in the living room, said Finken. Oh, you've never done that before, said Bear. He laid out his sleeping bag, and Finken made a tent of it from a tablecloth. This is working to the spook next time they got back. They played all their favorite games before long. It was dark outside. Our bunch of coffee was Finken's mother, with marshmallows and lettuces and hot dogs too, said Finken's mother. Finken's mother spoke, and Finken what to do. He covered the twigs at the edge of the walls, and helped to lay the bear. He filled a bucket and with sand and another with water. Only the bear Spitzenskins, hebben ze kirkot and the sparks something smoky there. Even to curve Spitzenskins father, he lost to see where the favours burning. He sing in Knar, the Knar of Mars. At the end of the song, Finken and his bird that learned all the words, the function, the pound, the croaking, and the underwater salting. Finken and bird toasted mashed peppers, toasted hot dogs, rapid 12 F-15, and on a long, long tail, they sit kids there watching the stars. Finken yawned and bird rubbed his ears. Time to pop the fair, bird and bird speed, said Finken's father. Then Finken and bird lifted from bed. Finken's servants gave them a glass of water, and a goblet had seen tea, he said, and off they did. The 12 friends lay still, for indeed, and Bert burned on his first aid. Finken, he whispered, it will feel cold. Did you eat all that sauce, Finken? First little bird, the tongue ran down his cheek. What's wrong then? Bird not turned. He missed me from, said Finken. He had near tongue. He knocked back and comes back. You can see the April. They found a closer spot and snuggled into the sleeping bed. After breakfast, he turned on his flashlight and what's wrong there? Asked Finken. With mother always says, don't need to be better. Mr. Bird, but Finken gave the thunder help, not need thunder. Not be bad, he said. Song make us fast asleep. The next morning, Finken spotted me for the special breakfast. Did you have given me sleep or what? Asked Finken. It was wonderful, said Bert. Finkel, next time Finken come to me, may Finken come to me first. Of course, Finken's feathers nodded. Finken did his own feather dance, and Bert said Finken tipping his shirt. Her feather bent her able sheep. Always been there, her curse a pig with me. He burned. Television server box and sister. Sister runs away. And Thomas Tinkinson was given his own bracelet. That was ordinary, something on the big entrance. It need something faster than previous checks that the others have not heard. They said that something was not a top of important tender entrance. It was rather a job for common tinkerings. The head conservator was very cross. He kept them in the shed and said that they couldn't earn their comrade. When they stopped being naughty, and he said the Thomas to help common herd effort to run the need of his fathers. In their garden and James have in the shed for several days. They were very miserable and longed to be returned again. At last the Fed conservator believed it hoped from the Thomas father. He said, "Stand up and understand that you are not so important after all." Each person that he had a space of him, he had not intention called Thursday. He is a smart little clean engine with smart and far wheels. Thursday is helped upon the coaches and Thomas and Lisbon about the mainland of a nation. All anyway, but on it so I know, if you promise to be God, he said. Well, yes, sir, you will. Yes, you will. Yes, sir, you will. Said the Americans. That state, said the conservative. But please remember that this whole something nonsense must stop. The Fed conservative told Thomas, Edmund Presser, that they concurred to be on the battlefield of the Fridays. They were not happy to see dinner and Clarabelle. The child churches were so pleased to see Thomas again. It didn't please the kid with trucks. Stop, 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 said the trucks, making such a fuss. But the engines just laughed and went on shunting till they were tightly arranged. Next, Edward took some empty trucks to the clapper. Spencer was lifting her. He didn't mean little bit. He hate watching trains for being always the cheek of them. People make noises with them like this. Gordon, Henry, and James got very cross. After some shunting, Spencer stopped next to the signal box where the signalman could set the points he can cross it from the yard. He was eager to work, but was rather careless and not paying attention. They didn't want him. Be careful on the main lane. We saw the signalman a job there, but he didn't remember to whistle, and the signalman forgot he was there. Spencer waited and waited. The punches stood against him. He couldn't move. Things were a bit crazy. He stopped eating. Suddenly, the quickness faded. He heard some chopping. He looked along the main lane. He whistled and hobbled, for Rusty stayed to watch him. Was garden with express. Princess Jacob turned on full speed and started for Princess to go back. But Princess Venus wouldn't turn quickly enough, and Gordon couldn't stop. Princess waited for the crash. The driven Freeman jumped out. Oh! Gordon, get out of my way! Princess opened his eyes. Gordon had stopped with Princess Buffers just 4 inches from his earth. But Princess had begun to move. He would stay up, he run away, he would stay up, run away. He would stay up, run away. He puffed. He went straight for Edward Station and was so frightened that he went right on Gordon's head without stopping. After that, he was tired, but he couldn't stop. Princess had worked Jacob to shut off steam and put on his brakes. He shall have to run till the wheels are hard. It want to stop. It want to stop. He puffed. The man in the signal box saw that Princess was in trouble, so he came to sit with punch. Princess puffed rather into the nation to seating, ending up in the big bank of air. He was taught magical where it went. Ouch! Oh, God heavens! Oh. Did you come running Of course it did come running faster. You just stand there checking. Come and help. Come on. Oh, thank goodness it stopped. Because she ended up in a big bank of earth. Never mind, said the workman said Doggy. You shall have a chicken some curve and you'll feel better. Gordon waved. Well done, Percy. You started so quickly that you stopped a nasty accident. In Minnesota, it is cheeky, said Percy. Your work clever to stop. Then Gordon helped poor Percy out from the bank. Not about to clean off the bank dirt. Now Percy helps with the curses in the yard. He's still cheeky because he's that sort of engine, but he's always ever careful when he goes on the main lane. Thomas and the breakdown chain. Every day if it conservative came from the station to catch his train, he always walked up and talked to Thomas the Tank Engine. And Thomas, he said, remember to be patient. I can never be as strong and fast as Gordon, the big blob engine, that I can be around the lost engine. The first trucks is right. There were lots of trucks at the station. They were bigger and nicer. They talked how much and paid chicks on engines, but they were not just hot. Thomas worked very hard, pushing and pulling the trucks into place, and getting the meter of the big engines to take on long turners. There was also a small church and sausage things, as they were called canes. That's the big darn shade. Each word Thomas. The canes are for lifting, healthy things, the conscience and curses and such. One day, Thomas's had a visitor in the yard. Suddenly, he heard an engine listening. Help! Help! Meaning not to wash the lane, he saw the ghost train come rushing through, much too fast. Thomas got sure that it was James. James thought, with a frightened, he was screaming and listening. His brake box on fire seemed said to stop. A passenger! A passenger! He shouted. But the trucks were laughing. Ha, ha, ha. They were having lots of fun with James. Her James went faster and faster. He was still listening and calling for help as he disappeared down the lane. It made the teach first trucks a lesson, said Thomas. Then came the alarm. James is off the lane. Fetch the big darn shade quickly, shouted one of the men. Thomas was coupled onto the big darn shade, and off they went. Thomas worked his hardest. Pepper, 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 he puffed. Faster, 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 don't bother. There's trucks in the chicks. He's that James isn't hurt, said Thomas as if hurried along. At last, they found James at the bend in the lane. He was in a field with a car knocking at him. His driven feeling of feeling him. All her to if he was hurt. Never mind, James, he said. It wasn't your fault. It was first one big sick for. He always said they and her God. Thomas possibly done chain alongside James. Then he pulled the unhurt trucks out of the way. It hurt. Stabs all right. Stabs all right, said Thomas. He was hard at work, puffing backwards and forwards all afternoon. This will teach Rob a lesson. This will teach Rob a lesson. Each word the church. They lift the broken sticks in its arcades. They put chains back on the wheels. He chased some more, but he couldn't, for Thomas hurting at Thomas' head. The second circle was waiting anxiously for him. He sneered when he saw Thomas. Well, Thomas, he said, you've got all about it, and they never pleased me for. Your father ran the Roswell engine. James have some properties, and the York will have paid, he said. And Thomas Roswell is a branch also said, oh, think also, said Thomas, feeling for the crowd. Now Thomas is as happy as can be. He is a branch and talk churches called Inner incredibly Inner can only take passengers, incredibly can take passengers, luggage, and a guard. That is needed nor paid. The Thomas Pops Chancellor records and fathers of them all day. He's never heard them. His friends Edward and Herbert stopped quite often to tell him and ask, God the biggest and proudest engine is always in a harbor, but he never forgets to say, and Thomas always whistles in the time. Having spent eating somehow the thinking box in Thomas box, comfort and comfort to stay Thursday. He found him opposite way. He thought that is okay. It has been on some adventure and Bernard made it back. Comfort and pleasure about the adventure he had when he was visiting the ship and the chase he lost. And he learned and lost his Thomas picture. Needless to say, he was telling him about what would happen if it was not hidden. It has to be safe and sound. And I'll take it and put it in with the TARDIS. Is about what the Daleks are wanting, and this hidden novel wanting it. Shut off the bit of them. Yes, it can. I'll take it. Comfort, listen. The engine and some clear person having some fish somewhere. The seems really beacon located. You're also in the legally top path. Sorry, not to be in caught. The damage has been destroyed, not one survived. It's controller. If I did never need the picture of this some table and if was never damaged, it was looking at some things. Agents they found. When they found the meeting, they heard them talking about something. They told her what they were talking about her. They went to find a place to locate, and they found this hidden plane, a Dalek plane. They thought as much. They didn't serve the planet, and they escaped, and that's where the Daleks were wanting to kill her. Where did it come from? Planet Scarper. It's a planet made for Earth nation, but it's not no. It was destroyed a long time ago. That's some strange way to make a pet planet. No, that seems unsafe. Making it. Well done. On midnight days, each man's penthouse, Mr. Martin his railway, on midnight places, all his friends and sister didn't see, and a touching son, Gunter did his work of sorting out the four papers, did his paperwork off. After work was done, they all went to bed. And there was someone who was visiting them. He was probably sneezed. He did his heart over well. Nate came over on the street, calling up and stitching the skirt. There was someone on the path. The orphans changed Section 7 from the well done. You're hurting running from the north. There's the Disney Knoxville somewhere. Disney Knoxville. A big connection. It is a big connection. So they've been talking over as they make us more starters. If we keep this running, we can have make some feel free. We're all this in this market not there, and I've gotten this on first paper. This isn't. Counter and keen devastation. One day, Congress has been transferred. The city 17 railway station transfer was taking some trucks of garden goods because he garden one day when transfer was taking some trucks of the garden goods. He had some bobber chains. This is good. Taking some garden goods to railway, garden transfer. Yes, it is common. Oh! This is good. Dodging the chain is express. Now you can put some space and the maiden name space. It was transfer. Instead of press is the wash corner. It needs us to say that a part of taken the person taught change dodging each other. The person is keen data it is certainly not the garden. They could some this plants. Oh, that's nice. There's perfect summer vegetation. Off this vegetation, kept on knocking out of another tree and express of another consequence. Here is the station got the seafront. In it, tall, as sod of field, earth and stone and grass. The seeds are planted and watered. They can make in a secret church, where they can put secret things. They can feel something for this trip is the outward field. It's a good bit for kind of awkward. Conversate a bit of pleasure and set off to see what she could see. The change of the small of it is quite proper in the sense in her, in the abundant of her, all in her conduct, but just waiting for Duncan, he's got something from his fish pot. And her, or not, got some cases. The others with her, father burnt what happened on her, then covered in shirt meat. This stuff. How Duncan, what is not done? He was expecting her to come clean, when it wasn't. It was in a mess. Oh, it's a bath. In this mess. Oh, it's nice. Some nuts of fish. This nice had got them from there. It was working. Connor didn't need fish. Sure, each spot. And hey, it doesn't need your fish, Duncan, said this. As a can, as it is thinking of it. It doesn't eat meat. Oh, Duncan, is this a smear? Father Bird, there's some teeth, like a smear. In how to feel something of a secret was noticed. There's one that got at the farm and lately of it. It was coughing at the end of it. Can you, Duncan? Well, listen this. You need a hidden that heaven not. He took Connor off the fish farm and to see what Duncan was explaining. Aha, some box of Duncan's nasty starter. That's what he's got. He was wanting it to be hidden. Miss Connor, he had the secret, not hidden in this place, was it? Then I'll take them to Plaster. He can hide them. We don't want them hidden. Oh, the servant road office. One of the upper railway engines are not smart. All of them are bad, and some others are God. They to hate them for the need a steam engine, and this brother knob can't pinch them. It cheats a fatal. What's a steam engine and not Knoxley? The same as Doug. Take distance, a gumby basket, a hot dog, or color. Take newspapers to Pittsburgh. The chocolate by Pittsburgh was waiting. Well done. Here's some of them. Now let's hit them just in case. I hidden Pittsburgh. I earned a vaccine, can't find it. Come on, there's my tape. I'll just wait. Step Pittsburgh. I'm just needing to find the place to eat grass. Pittsburgh did his day's work and taking conduct from his advantage for and he hopes it doesn't take long. Just needs to eat, not long. Spit back the fall and got back on board. Pittsburgh is talking about me, like taking holiday people to other countries. At the end of the day, Pittsburgh got covered off as in the his opposite of it. Her mate and supper. It had been a nice day of a turpentine. I think I'll turn